Welcome to the Nexcess Client Support Tutorial Series. This video demonstrates how Nexcess clients can create a MySQL database as well as a primary user for the database using the Siteworks control panel. This demo is one in a series of videos available at www.nexcess.net/support. Please note that this video is not interactive and therefore does not require your input. Before we get started, please note that in order to successfully create a MySQL database from within Siteworks, you will need your Siteworks login information. This information is provided in the welcome email that was sent to you when your account was activated. Also, please note that if you are a secondary user on another person's Siteworks account, your user account must be set up with permission to create MySQL databases. Once you have created a MySQL database in Siteworks, you will be able to set up the structure of the database and also perform a wide variety of operations for administering the database using the phpMyAdmin tool, which is accessible directly through the Siteworks control panel. During the course of this demonstration, you will see how to log into Siteworks, from within Siteworks, access the MySQL database management page, assign a name to the database, create a username, password, and the access permissions for the user account. To get started, you will need to access the Siteworks login page and then log in using your Siteworks login information. This information can be found in the welcome email that was sent to you when your Nexcess account was activated. In this demo, we will log into the Siteworks account that we have set up specifically for demonstration purposes. On the Siteworks main menu, click to expand the Hosting Features group. Within the Hosting Features group, click the MySQL option, and then click the Databases option. Now we are on the Database Management page. The top half of the page provides fields for creating a new database, and then the lower half of the page displays any existing MySQL databases that are set up on your domain. In this demo, no databases have been set up yet, so nothing is currently listed. Now we are ready to create a database. First, we need to assign a name to the database. Please keep a couple of things in mind when deciding what to name your database. First, you should use a name that reflects the name or type of application that you are creating the database for. For example, if the database will be used for a blogging application, consider naming the database simply blog. The name that you choose is entirely up to you. However, please note that if the name you assign contains more than one word and you wish to separate the words, please use an underscore to separate each word. Do not use spaces or other special characters. For this demo, we will assign a generic name, MyDB. Again, if assigning a name containing more than one word and you wish to separate the words, use an underscore to separate each word. Do not use spaces or dashes. To add a user to the database, you can choose to either create a new database user while the database is being created, or you can choose to add an existing user to the database after the database is created. Please note, however, that before you can set up the database to be used, you must have at least one user with all permissions enabled assigned to the database. For this demo, we want to add a new database user while creating the database, so we will need to click the Create User checkbox. Upon clicking the Create User checkbox, the screen expands to show the fields for defining the database user account, the username and password that the user will need to access the database, as well as the MySQL permissions that will be applied to the user. In the username box, we will enter the name that we want to assign to the database user. To specify a password for the user account, you can either manually enter the desired password in the Password and Confirm Password boxes, or you can have a secure password generated for you by clicking on the Generate button. Upon clicking the Generate button, notice that the generated password is displayed under the password box. Be sure to make note of the password, as you will need to reference it when setting up an application to use this database. In the MySQL User Permissions section, notice that all permissions are selected by default. To disable a specific permission for the account, simply click the checkbox next to the permission to clear the check mark. For this demo, we want to make this user the primary user, so we will leave all permissions selected. As mentioned earlier, a database must have at least one primary user account which has all permissions enabled. You can specify the host name from which the user must use to connect to the database in the When Connecting From box. Or, if you want to allow all host names, leave this field with a default value, which is a % symbol. When ready to finish creating the database, click the Add button. The newly added database now appears under the Existing Databases section. It is important to note that Siteworks automatically prefixes the database name with the first 8 characters of your domain name. When specifying the database information during install of an application, be sure to enter the full database name. For example, the domain we used for this demo is nexdocs.net, and the name that we assigned to the database is MyDB. So the full database name is nexdocsn_mydb. Please be sure to use the same convention when entering the database user account information. For example, in this demo, the full user account name would be nexdocsn_jdoe, where jdoe is the name that we assigned to the database user. This concludes the demonstration on how to create a new MySQL database using the Siteworks control panel. If you need assistance or have questions, please feel free to send an email to support@nexcess.net. Also, keep in mind that the information provided in this demo is also available in the Nexcess Client Support Knowledge Base. Good luck!